everyone, this is Pig for Life, and in today's P4L review we'll be taking another look at another Fans Toys pre-production sample. This time it's their FT-13 Mercenary, their version of their MP Shrapnel or Scrapnel, depending on which version of the name you want to use nowadays. And this is their second of their Insecticons, the original 3 Insecticons. And this, again, is a pre-production sample, so just a quick disclaimer, this may be slightly different from the final production version that will be coming out actually very shortly. I think in the next couple of weeks it should be arriving to retailers. But I still was able to get a very quick look at it and get you this review. So if you haven't made your decision yet, here's your opportunity. So first off, he does come with a ton of different things. So he comes with 2 sets of the same gun. One is chromed out, as you can see in my left hand, and the other one is in purple plastic. I prefer the chromed out one, but I actually don't remember which one is show accurate. But they both are the same exact mold though. Alright. Other things that he comes with, in addition to the already installed more insect-like legs, and I actually don't know what this backpack orientation is supposed to be. This is just my most compact guess at what it looks like, and it cleans up pretty well. Not as messy as I think as bombshells. They're bombshells, but in addition to that, like with their bombshell, you also get additional more G1 accurate sets of legs, and those are 3 sets, and these are the hind legs there. So these sets of legs are installed with a simple set of screws that are already here, and I'll show that off later. What we'll end up doing is showing off this going into transformation. Once we get into bug mode, we'll do some part swapping, and I'll show you the instructions to do that, and then we'll transform back into robot mode. So you'll get a view of both modes with both parts out. And then this also is the additional clear chest piece, which their bombshell had as well. So let's go ahead and move that out of the way, and just go ahead and start with robot mode review. And I actually like this take on Shrapnel a lot better than their take on Bombshell. I've always complained that some of the Fans Toys designs are too heroic. So just to give you an idea of what I mean, like he just looks too heroic to me. He has this ultra slim waist, big shoulders, you know, big chest, really weird hips here as well. I think Mercenary just looks really nice, very slim, and more, I guess, accurate to what my vision of Shrapnel should be. As far as just the overall look, besides the backpack, which is kind of my biggest complaint, everything else looks really great about him. And as with their bombshell, he's very, very heavy. He has a lot of die cast. I can't even tell all the parts that are die cast, but I think, you know, almost the entirety of the bottom leg, the foot, the heel, I believe, parts of the chest. I think the majority of the chest actually is die cast. The front and the back half here, not this section here, but a whole lot of die cast that makes this tiny little figure extremely hefty, which is very good. And it's not, you know, poor choices in use of die cast, because there's definitely die cast that is used poorly and executed poorly. Fans Toys has it down pretty pat. So as far as his head sculpt, you only get one face, but it's actually a really good one. I think it looks really good. Very plain, but kind of what I expect from Shrapnel. Nothing too fancy. He does have a small ball jointed head. He doesn't get any down whatsoever, like none at all. And he gets a little bit of motion going all the other directions. Because of his kind of shoulder pylons, he can't even do a 180 or even 90 degrees, but not too bad. His pinchers are only on a swivel, so not like bag cubes, which were on a ball joint. So you do actually have some limited mobility there, and because they're on the same hinge as these face covers, you can't actually get a lot. You can't get as much range out of these or dynamic poses out of these without these interfering, which is actually kind of a downer. Let's talk about articulation. He does have shoulder swivel there, a weird shoulder swivel going out this way. He does have a bicep swivel up here, double jointed elbows, which get you a lot of bend there. He has a wrist swivel, and that's about it for the arms. He does have a lower waist swivel, which you'll need for transformation purposes. They can go 360. Frictioned hips. This could be a little bit tighter, again, since the entire leg is die cast, but it looks like this side is fine. It's just maybe just this one production sample. Thigh swivel, and again, because it's blocky, it does break up the look a bit. He actually has double jointed knees. Just the one lower joint gets you to 90, and then if you do the other joint, you can actually get 90 off of that as well. And in combination, until you run into some interference, you can get a whole lot of knee bend. His ankles have a tilt going this way, and then his foot can tilt that way. Nothing going forward or going outwards, but a good range here, and it doesn't look terrible. I mean, it still does provide that gap that I don't really like when they're hinged at the inner part of the lower leg, but it's not as bad as some other figures. And I think that's it for articulation, unless you want to talk about the backpack. These insect legs do have multiple joints, but I'll just go over those when we get into insect mode. Oh, and I didn't talk about the guns tabs, but they have tabs on the hands like Mastery style, and slots on the inner side of their palm. So nothing new really there. Very similar to their bombshell. But again, I really like the look of this in robot mode. We're going to go ahead and start off with transformation from robot to alt mode. Oh, I already did this, but yeah, let's do this real quick again. They look like they belong together, except, you know, this is purple die cast and this is just purple plastic, so it does contrast a little bit there, but not too bad. So let's go ahead and get into transformation. First thing we'll do is just cover up the face, just because it's easy. Just swing that down. Come on. There we go. And again, the pincers, now that this is closed, can go their full range. What I like doing next is actually dealing with the legs, because that is the most complicated part. You can go ahead and untab this little triple double hinged articulating arm here, and we're going to need that when we transform. So what we'll do is come to the lower leg, straighten out the toes, rotate at the waist 180 degrees. Oh, I forgot, you have to pull these little pieces near the obliques. They telescope out and they'll rotate around, and you'll just collapse them back in. I believe you have to collapse them back in, we'll see, but I believe you have to collapse them back in when they're in this position, like so. And then for the legs, you actually have these on double hinges, I believe, this entire back of the leg. And it's very slight, but you're going to want to do, I find it easiest to pull up on the foot to get it started. And you just need to get it up like so. And from here, we're going to do leg collapsing, which, as you guys know, is not my favorite thing in the world. I think it's really annoying. Most mechanisms are not very good. But you go ahead and collapse it in. You got to make sure you collapse this in all the way. And you'll know when you collapse it all the way by two things. You'll be able to tab this telescoping piece that we saw before in, and then there's also that peg on the top of the foot actually has a corresponding hole on this piece that extended down, which is actually the bottom part of the knee. Same thing on the other side. Just push. Ow, that hurt. Push on it until it collapses through and this part will start sticking out. And once you have that kind of started, you'll be able to finish off. I find it also easy if you peg in the foot first. That'll help you get, and then the push down here, it helps you get that last, last little bit of collapsing, because it is really tough to get this collapsed all the way. Again, I hate leg collapsing mechanisms, especially when they're not done really smoothly, but there we go. And again, these will tab in there. Get these rear feet out the way, and this weird shape piece will actually go in between the legs. There's actually a groove right on the inside here. And you want it so that this sits at kind of like a right angle or perpendicular or parallel to the ground, like that. And I also believe you can tab this in on the leg here, between the legs, like so. And it makes use of the handle on the tab handles for the gun. And you can use either. I just used the chrome just because it was the closest in reach. You can straighten out the legs here. The legs on the front are on a joint that you can rotate flat like that. Okay. Get these positioned like this. This will be positioned like so. And the last thing you're going to need to do is deal with the arms. You're going to want to come down to the arm, and you'll see that there's a pin here. You're going to kind of separate it there. It folds out at a very odd angle, and then you're going to want to rotate at this circular part here. Make use of the double jointed elbows, and you're going to come around back, and you'll see a small slot here where this tab will correspond. Make sure not to rotate the fist, because you need the fist oriented this way to get enough clearance to actually tab in. Although this is one area that is area of issue for me, because it's plastic tabbing into, I believe, die cast. It doesn't tab in all that securely. Same thing on this side. Getting those double jointed elbows in place. There we go. Actually, that tabbed in much better than it normally does. Oh, actually it didn't. Yeah, see, it just doesn't want to stay tabbed in very well. And it's also a blind tab, so in the sense that I can't see it, so it makes it a little bit more difficult. But by and large, this is the alt mode. And it looks quite good. I think this looks like a very convincing shrapnel. He is pretty big on the back and really heavy on the back, because basically most of the die cast is now back here. But it does, these insect legs look much better than I think these G1 ones, but I guess we'll show that off in a bit. Give me a second, I'll go ahead and bring in Bombshell and his alt mode to do a quick comparison. Alright, so here is their bombshell along with their shrapnel. And again, I really like their insect legs. They scale really well together. They're about the same size, especially in the backpack. The length is about the same. The width is about the same as well. So, scale-wise, they look really good. No complaints there. Alright. So getting into the instructions for how to replace the legs, we'll start with the rear ones. We'll just unscrew this. That'll come off there. Same thing on the other side. And I'm not sure about the orientation of these legs. They're essentially the same. The only difference being, I'll show you, that there are molded like divots here or impressions here. So I'm going to assume that that goes on the outside. Just because why would you mold pieces that you're not going to be able to see? And as you would imagine, you just get these on. They're really tight fit though. And I'm wondering if maybe I am installing them wrong. Is it the other way? Oh, okay. So there is a specific orientation. So you want those molded pieces actually on the inside. So my logic of why would you mold pieces so they can't see them was completely off. These pieces here we're going to unscrew at this joint. And that will be these pieces here. And these last pieces, they're going to go plug in this way, so you actually have to get in from the top here, which is a little bit difficult. You might have to move these pinchers, or you might want to do it in robot mode. And again, you want to make sure that these don't matter in terms of orientation, but you do want to make sure that they're pegged in correctly before you start screwing them in. Just to make sure the alignment of the screw is correct and you're not coming in at a weird angle or anything like that. So here we are with the more G1 feet. I think these look really goofy, especially in a kind of a masterpiece line, which is supposed to be realistic. So I really like the other feet more. But to each their own. The other thing we're going to need to do, and we'll actually do this kind of on the way to robot mode transformation, just because I can't access the screw very easily at this point, is the translucent piece. So I'll partially extend the legs or something like that, and okay, yeah, that's enough where I can gain access to the screws, more like a pin screw. Just take that off, install this back on, come in from his left side or your right side if you're facing it. Yep, once you have that, since I promised you guys what it would look like, let's go ahead and collapse these back up first. And just to make it a little bit different, and since that piece fell off anyway, we'll go ahead and insert the purple gun in here. Tab those back in. Make sure the arms are tabbed back in. Yep, and here we go. Now he's all swapped out with his alternate pieces. Obviously, you can do these legs with this chest piece. I'm not going to do all the different permutations. That will just take forever. It's kind of silly. So let's go ahead and transform this guy back into robot mode. So we'll do what we were just doing now. We'll just unpeg the feet here. Separate the legs a little bit just to get rid of this gun. Untab the arms. Get this piece out from between the legs as well. We'll just rotate that up for now. And then we can finally start untabbing this and straightening out the leg. Get the foot rotated up. Then we can get the waist around. This needs to fold. These need to fold up. And you need to do this because you need that clearance for these telescoping side pieces to come back around. Otherwise they won't sit anywhere. And then again, since I don't have the instructions, I'm not really sure where any of this really goes. I imagine something like this maybe. It'd be cool if this could rotate around and then this could maybe sit in here, but something like this. I'll just fold this around like that. Or actually we'll come, can't really come around to the, I guess we can come around to the back or the side. Doesn't really matter. Why am I even bothering? You guys don't care about this either, I would imagine. Oh, that actually kind of works pretty well. Okay. And these can be like thrusters for a jetpack or something. Imagination. Straighten out the arm. Tab it back in. Just get it kind of rotated in the correct form and fashion so it's facing the right way. Pull these down. Separate these pieces. And there we have Mercenary back in robot mode. I kind of like the purple back here, honestly, even though it sticks out really far. You might be able to just do something else with that, but yeah, again, you probably can do whatever you want. The official transformation probably isn't very specific either. But yeah, that's really it for the review for Mercenary. My final thoughts. I really like this guy much more than I like the Grenadier or Grenadier or however you pronounce it. I like Shrapnel a lot. I do think he is not as well executed as the Bad Cube one. I don't have him to compare, unfortunately, because I don't have a set of them right now. But I think this transformation is a little wonky in some areas. I don't like the telescoping legs, even though some people might. I don't think it looks as clean. I don't think it's actually as fun as the Bad Cube one. I also like the fact that the Bad Cube one, you have more options with these pinchers. You can take them off and use them as melee weapons. And the fact that they're not on the same hinge allows you a little bit more freedom on the Bad Cube ones. I also like some of the transformation cool gimmicks that they have. That said, this guy is really good. I think he's a better figure. I just don't like the backpack as much. I think that could have been done cleaner. The diecast is obviously always pretty nice. And it's a really hefty figure, so you feel like you're getting a really quality figure. I just think, for my opinion, is that the Bad Cube ones are a better bang for your buck. I mean, if you can get both for around the same price, maybe you want to go with Mercenary here, the Fans Toys ones, but I think their bombshell's a little weak and compared to the Bad Cube one, and I think this guy is not as good, even though it's still a good figure. I have a personal preference towards the Bad Cube one. Alright, if you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comment section below. Hopefully the instructions were really helpful for you. If they were and you liked the review, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to keep up to date with my news and reviews, go ahead and click the P4L reviews button somewhere down here or up here. I'm not really sure right at this point. or follow me on Facebook at Pick for Life Reviews. If you want to pick this guy up for your collection, he's going to be on pre-order and out very soon, in the next week or so, next couple weeks, in early January 2016. And you can order it from Toy Dojo, and I'll provide a link in the description below as well. Alright, thank you Toy Dojo and Fans Toys for allowing me to do this pre-production sample review. That's all for today, everyone. Have a good one.